got to concentrate on those docks. Tonight, we're going after crappie, and we're going to show you a technique we use to catch crappie on Lake Norman at night. Let's go fishing. That's the thing about Lake Norman, is the #1 structure is docks, right, Spivey?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more docks on Norman than there is Wiley.
We'll come out here at night and we'll troll in front of docks and we'll try to pick up brush on the sonar. You can fish these docks for catfish while you're crappie fishing. See, look, we're coming up in front of the dock here. If you can see that. There's a dock right there. We're just a couple feet off of it. You can see all this structure right out in front of this dock.
Can we switch between Downs, Candlecook, Wassail?
Sure. Yeah. See all that brush? So that's the trick, guys. Come out here, troll in front of docks, try to mark some brush. And even if you're catfishing, if you're pulling boards, pull your boards out in front of the docks. That's how you fish Lake Norman, and that's how you fish a lot of southern reservoirs that are deep and clear, not a lot of structure. Fish these creeks, these secondary creeks, pull your boards up right up on the docks. You pick up some fish that way.
The reason he's telling you to pull those boards on structured on the docks is like catfish aren't just like creatures of like opportunity, they're ambush predators as well. So they're sitting on these, they're not sitting on these docks, but they're sitting right off of the docks waiting to ambush some type of wounded bait fish or something that swims by close enough. It seems like most of the time when we're crappie fishing, especially nighttime like this, it seems like the fish are just always hung up on the bottom unless the water is super warm. Right now the water's still like 54 degrees, and so it seems like the fish are just kind of hung on the bottom. What I'm doing is just after I cast it out, I let it sink to the bottom, and I'm basically retrieving the bait back to me and letting it pretty much just continuously bounce on the bottom as long as I can until it pretty much gets vertical to the boat, and then I slowly wind it up. But it seems like most of the fish usually always come off the bottom, and it's definitely a light bite tonight. You can always tell when it's a crappie, because a crappie, they have a very slow yet steady pull when you're fighting them. They're not like a perch, where a perch is very like jacked up and going all over the place. And you can tell by the color of this fish, she's either spawning or fixing to spawn, just because it's so dark. After they spawn out, there'll be their spots, and the top of them will be very faded out. They'll actually get darker than this.
We anchor up in front of one of these docks with the brush, and we put our light out. We got bait under the light. Are you fishing directly under the bait?
No, it seems like when it comes to crappie, they don't really like the brightness of the light. They're in the dimly lit water. You have like really bright water, and then like some like dimly lit water, and then dark water. And so what we're doing is casting out into the dark water and slowly reeling our bait in, and you're wanting to have it bouncing on the bottom as it's coming into the dimly lit water. And that seems to be where the bigger crappie are laying. They're not in the really bright water, they're in the dimly lit water. So the outskirts of the light. Yes.
Kind of where it starts to fade into the darkness.
Yes.
You want to cast over in that and kind of jig it back.
Yes. The rods we're using are around 4 foot long. When it comes to selecting rods, I mean, I don't have one rod on my boat right now. We have about 4 different rods. And like I said, we really like a 4 foot rod. Any longer than, you can use longer than that, but me personally, I feel like I can detect a bite better on a 4 foot rod. But really what you're looking for is pretty much the softest tip that you can find. I mean, especially a rod with a good backbone where you get a good hook set, yet still has a delicate enough tip where you can see and detect even the slightest bite. So there's really not a perfect rod out there anymore. You just gotta pretty much just do some research and find the rods that work for you.
Got a toad on, guys. Got that little 4 foot ice rod bent over.
£4 test.
Action's pretty hot tonight. They're actually hitting it on the fall. I'm casting it out there and it's not even hitting the bottom, and bam, they're on there, man. All day, baby, all day long. Just reel it nice and slow while jigging that tip. That's how you do it. You come off?
No. Freaking bass came up and slammed him, man.
Really?
Yes.
Big bass?
I mean, probably 8 pounds.
Dang.
Did you hear the splash?
Yeah.
The splash was the bass hitting the crappie out of the water. But
Oh
I mean,
my
I guess it
God.
was too big for him to get in his mouth.
Oh my God. On Lake Norman, we showed you how to come up beside the docks, look for structure, find structure. And right now it's March, water temp's still in the 50s. I think the water temp's around 55. But the fish are starting to spawn, and they spawn in stages. So some of the crappie we're catching are darker in color. They're already starting to spawn. Some of the crappie that we're catching is are still light in color, and they haven't started yet. But the bite's not on fire yet. As the water temp approaches 60 degrees, as we get on into April, the bite will increase. We just got back, man. We had a pretty good night. We're gonna count them, see how many we caught. Spivey's going to get the truck. Right there. I get to take the fish home.
One
Crappie are so good.
toad.
Yes. Woo! Get out there, get a line wet, and keep going, baby.